Hi, my name's Sarah Lawrenson, and I want to tell you a story that angers me personally as a taxpayer, as an American, and I think it'll anger you too. So, when your loans go into default, the Department of Education contracts third-party collection agencies to assist people in getting out of student loans or out of student debt. And the way this works is that you are put in a rehabilitation program for 10 months. And during that 10 months, you have to make 9 payments to be removed from default. You have to make 5 payments to be removed from offset and from risk of wage garnishment. Now, last year, my husband and I was already in a rehabilitation program for my personal student loans. Now, when you make payments towards the rehabilitation program, it doesn't actually go to your student loans. It goes to the collection company. You're just showing that you are able and willing to make 10 what they call good faith payments. Now, I was already in a rehabilitation program, and it's important to note this because I want to make it clear that it is not a problem with all of the collection companies that the Department of Education contracts. It's the one that I'm about to talk about. So last year, my husband and I filed our taxes and they were intercepted. We had been in default for a little over, not quite a year. And I set up my thing and I filed before the 5 months. It was fine. I didn't say anything. The rest of the money went to my husband's defaulted student loans. We then worked on getting into a rehabilitation program to ensure 2 things. 1, to ensure that it didn't happen again this year. And 2, that they didn't end up siphoning my husband's check. My husband had just gotten work in his field after 4 years. Now we are in, we started making payments back in April. And that would, if you can math, it brought us to January that our payments would be over. And after the 10 payments, which are income qualified payments, they move you from their collection agency back to the Department of Education, and the Department of Education gives you a new loan assessor, and you deal with them. You can only do this once with the student loans. Now, if you screw up, you get out of 10 payments, or out of 10 months, you have to make 9 payments. If you screw up while you're in the rehabilitation program, they reset your stuff, or they reset it to the most recent missed payment. So if you made 4 payments and then you make another 4 payments and then the last payment you miss, you go back 4 payments. Now, this is important to note because we got in the rehabilitation program. We were actively making payments until late November. I took my kids to Hollywood for Black Friday. My kids had never been, it was just a good time, except I lost my wallet. Now, one of the first things any reasonable person does is cancel their bank cards. It's also important to note that we had 2 bank accounts at that time. We were in the process of transferring for one that was for a different county, a credit union for a neighboring county that had become difficult for us to utilize. So we were in the process of changing to a more local credit union. So on the 16th, when our loan was due, it was only $5. On the 16th, when our loan was due, it didn't go through because they still had the previous bank card. I had intended to call them on the 17th, but they called me first. Works out. We updated the card to my husband's card. And I didn't think again about it because at that time, we had just lost a car. We were in the process of purchasing a brand new car. Which the down payment is not cheap on a brand new car. We used our savings to get into the brand new car. So we had money in the account because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to buy the brand new car. And we didn't even use all of our savings on the brand new car. So I didn't hear anything back from them. They were apparently the payment didn't go through. They were supposed to reach back out to us, but never did. That's in their notes. But on the 10th, we received a letter from the Department of Education, not National Recoveries, the third-party collection agency, that stated that we had missed a payment. And I was like, what? It's the end of the day on the 10th. I'm pretty sure that the next business day was the 14th. So I reached out to National Recoveries on the 14th and I said, hey, what's going on? And they said the payment had been declined. And I said, why was a payment declined? There was money in the account. I couldn't think of any reason why it would. So I went ahead, I confirmed the card number, I confirmed the expiration date, I confirmed the zip code, I confirmed the 3 digits on the back, I confirmed everything was good. And I told them to process for another 2 payments, which should have brought us back from 9 payments, because our last payment would be 2 days away from being completely out of default. Now we are at 5 payments, and we're going to make 2 payments, which will bring us to 7. Now, our tax return, we had originally intended to go to buy a house, and being out of default qualified us for FHA. So we were kind of waiting on it. So I was really irritated. So I contacted the Department of Education and I filed a formal complaint about the situation. But not before I contacted my bank. I went ahead and I paid another payment to them, or I attempted to. And I called my bank and I said, hey, what's going on? Why didn't this payment go through? And my bank had never heard of National Recoveries, had never heard of the Department of Education, and did not have any attempted transactions for the amount dating ever, which made sense because we were using the previous bank account prior to the 17th. So I thought, maybe it's a fluke. The only difference between the 2 cards, besides the different bank accounts, was the logo, the MasterCard versus Visa logo. So when our payments didn't go through again on the 14th, and I called back on the 16th to find out why the payment hadn't gone through, I suggested, do you guys take MasterCard? And they assured me that as long as it wasn't a credit card, they would take the payment. So I went ahead and tried making a payment with my debit card. Now, the first time and the second time, we had tried using my husband's card. We used my bank card this time. And yet again, didn't go through. Now, they process things a little differently than normal people. They collect all of the payments for that day and they process it all at one time. It is over an hour wait to talk to them. So at 3:00, my payment didn't go through. So I called them back and I asked them, why didn't my payment go through? The bank is not getting any of these attempted payments. What's going on in your processing center? Because they're not leaving your processing center. What is going on? And they had no idea. They couldn't tell us. They couldn't anything. They couldn't give me any information. And finally, my husband and I made the decision to pay them with a check. On the 24th, I didn't see the check processing. So I called and I said, hey, what's going on? Where is the check? Because the thing is that now I don't trust you, because it's really convenient that you stop taking our payments 2 months away. 2 months away from being out of default. You just suddenly stop doing that. Convenient, wouldn't you think? You know, they get, if I'm in the program longer, they get more money from the Department of Education. They get more money from me. It makes sense why they would continue to defraud the government, that's what it boils down to. So I've already filed a complaint with the Department of Education about this going on. I have requested from the Department of Education that we be moved out of that collection agency into another collection agency, and I was refused. They said, well, when you're out of default, we can put you with a loan adjuster, which will take out the problem of National Recoveries. Except National Recoveries isn't taking our payment. So I called again on the 28th and said, I still don't see these payments processing. And I know that if we wait much longer, we're going to lose more payments towards this. Oh, we see the payment processed. it's good. It's been approved. You're fine. I don't see it on my account. But you're good. We promise. I said, do you want me to make another payment? Because I have bought a burner bank card with a Visa logo, just in case. Do you want me to make another payment? Because I don't want to end up in offset. I have worked too hard to get out of default, to get out of offset for this nonsense. Oh no, you're good. We assure you that you are good. So I call on the 3rd of February. And the checks bounced. Bounced. Again. No contact from the bank. Nothing. And the thing is that with checks, if there's no money in the account, there's a return check fee. I verified that the information that they had was accurate. Again, I had just used that banking account and routing number to pay our electric bill. We know that the payments are not being processed. We are trying everything to pay these people. And I'm asking them, how do you want me to pay you? Oh, well, if it's not going through, it's just not going through. Well, that's not an answer, is it? So I called the Department of Education again, and I filed another formal complaint. And I am assured by the Department of Education, God's honor, that they are going to process our tax return. And they're not going to intercept it this year. As long as we pay directly to the Department of Education our bill, our $5 bill. Okay, take our payment. Here you go, take it. And it goes through. No problem. No questions asked. Goes through. And they intercepted our tax return. The Department of Education is assisting National Recoveries in defrauding individuals. And more importantly, they don't care that they are defrauding the federal government, because them continuing to collect on people who are actively trying to pay. Now, we are in a situation where we need to move. Not because we're being evicted, but because there's a situation going on. And we're going to have to come up with the money ourselves, which is going to take a lot. We've got 4 kids. Finding a 3-bedroom in California is already hard, and not having a deposit is going to be harder. But my biggest problem is that the Department of Education has been notified by them about this twice. But I was talking to somebody else who also used National Recoveries, and this isn't the only time they've done that. No, there is reports all over the internet with them doing this. This is an ongoing issue where National Recoveries continuously refuses to accept payments so that they can put people back in the program further behind and continuously do that. And the difference is that I'm not going to shut my mouth about it. I'm not. This is not okay. This is not okay. And I won't stand for it. And as a taxpayer, neither should you.